We got multiple Juan Soto updates for the Toronto Blue Jays, and they're getting more interesting by the day. So we'll break that down on this episode of Jays Digest, as well as some new information that came out about the Blue Jays meeting with the star outfielder. So we'll have that and much more coming up next. Welcome in, everybody, to Jays Digest. I'm your host, Peter Vryonis, alongside host Nick Gosse. And it's starting to heat up yet again. We took a break from the Juan Soto stuff yesterday, but some more news came out on that front today. So we're going to try to sift through all of it. And as always, make sure to hit that subscribe button because we're very close to our goal of 15,000 subscribers. So if you guys could get us close to there, it'd mean the world to us. And the support has been unbelievable in the recent videos. Let's not stop it here. Let's keep it going. But Nick, let's get straight into it. Let's not waste any time. Juan Soto. The stuff is starting to heat up. We're hearing conflicting reports about his meeting with the Yankees. Some say it went well, some say it didn't go too well. But I find it interesting how he wants to take a meeting with the Yankees anyways, since he was there already for an entire season. I don't know. This whole thing is above my pay grade. So let's just try to make sense of it from the outside looking in. But Juan Soto. It's down to the two New York teams and the Toronto Blue Jays by all accounts. The Dodgers could sneak in there as well due to them making a ton of money off the Shohei mania last season. They may have some unexpected funds that they'll be able to allocate towards Juan Soto. It's truly, there are no bounds to how much money this guy is going to get in this offseason, and it's going to be the biggest story, and we'll keep you up to date on all of it. But Nick, it's getting crazier by the day.
Yeah, I mean, every single day you wake up, you check Twitter or whatever you use, and more news. And we have a lot of different things here, specifically on the Jays front. We have some more things, of course, just in the general frontier. So let's start with this. It dropped 20 minutes ago from Jon Heyman. The Soto meetings this week and last week were not a time for offers. They were getting acquainted sessions, especially for the owners. No offers are believed to have been made at these get-togethers. And we heard some reports saying that offers were made. Now Jon Heyman is coming out saying no offers were made at this time. So again, we know that Jeff Passan said the decision will probably be made before the winter meetings, or at least at the very start of them, so December 6th to 8th range. But we'll dive into a couple other things here. There's a lot of things, and Mark Feinsand dropped a report, and he said it's unclear exactly who attended the meeting on behalf of the Jays, though Toronto's meeting with Shohei Ohtani last year included Chairman Edward Rogers, President Mark Shapiro, and GM Ross Atkins, and manager John Schneider. I'm sure he really swayed the bill there a little bit. But I want to get your thoughts on this.
Low blow there, Nick. Why do you got to do John Schneider like that,
Well,
man?
just any manager in general. I am a fan of John Schneider. It's just funny that he had it in there. But what are your thoughts on this thing here? It's very interesting to me that no offers are being made. Clearly, this is just the starting point of what's going to be very long negotiations. And we have a report from Jon Heyman, another one, which we'll get into in a minute here. But it's unclear who attended the meeting, and obviously everybody, including I guess, John Schneider and the coaching staff as well. So this is with Ohtani, of course. But it's interesting now because no offers were made here.
Yeah, and all the Otani stuff was really stuck close to the chest of his camp and everyone who was involved in making those decisions. So no information truly came out until after the fact that he signed with the Los Angeles Dodgers. I don't know if it's going to be that same way with Juan Soto here, but Scott Boras, his agent, you may see some conflicting reports that come out. We saw a report that the Mets made an offer worth $660 million that ultimately ended up not being true, according to Jon Heyman, who is as connected, whether you hate him or not, he is as connected as anybody in the Major League Baseball world, apart from maybe Jeff Passan. So I'll take Jon Heyman's word for it there. You got to believe that he's going to take his time with this entire process. We don't know how it's going to unfold, but he's holding meetings with as many teams that are showing interest in him, and I expect it to continue to go that way for Soto here. I don't expect him to make a decision before the winter meetings, and I think he's going to drag this out as long as possible to get as close as he can to that $700 million figure that Shohei Ohtani really set as the precedent last offseason. Are they equal players in my mind? I don't think so. Are they equal in their off-field impact? Absolutely not. But Juan Soto is younger. He's more durable than Shohei Ohtani, so there are some factors playing into his favor here that could make him the highest paid player ever in Major League Baseball. Just an offseason after signing a $700 million contract by Ohtani. So I truly don't know how far this is going to go, and I don't know how deep the Jays are willing to get into this entire sweepstakes here, but they're in on him, and the fact that they've started this whole process as early as possible, I think that's a good sign for Blue Jay fans that something else could be on the horizon if this doesn't work out. And I ultimately think it's not going to work out. I don't want to get too deeply entrenched into this like we did last year, Nick, but it's the story of the offseason, and we can't ignore it, especially when the Blue Jays are said to have had a positive meeting with the guy and things are trending in the right direction. So we're definitely going to monitor the situation, but I don't know if there's an unequivocal answer that we have as of yet.
Yeah, and you mentioned how far they're willing to go. Again, it went very well accordingly with the Yankees, but reality is the deep-pocketed all-in Mets and champion Dodgers have serious chances, and at least the Jays and Red Sox are in play too. And something I want to bring up here from John Heyman's article today, you can see towards the end where the highlight is, the motivated Mets and Blue Jays are viewed as threats to place the highest bid. Mets owner Steve Cohen and Jays owner Edward Rogers are believed to be the two most richest owners, or the two of the richest owners in baseball, and both seem extremely motivated here. And this is something we're hearing a lot more this go around compared to the Ohtani stuff, is that, and we mentioned it in Ben Nicholson Smith's article, saying they're willing to have and willing to pay upwards of $700 million. And then John Heyman comes out today and says that they're very motivated to the richest owners. I mean, there is a world where the offer from the Blue Jays is very competitive with that of Steve Cohen. Now, whether that's in the 600-700 millions, it seems like all factors are saying that if they're going to lose out on Juan Soto, it won't be because of the money figure in Edward Rogers. Because, again, there's a lot of reason for them to be intrigued with Juan Soto, and it'll help, of course, their revenue drive up a ton, especially with the new renovations. But, Peter, just another report indicating that Edward Rogers and the Toronto Blue Jays are willing to go above and beyond, at least when it comes to the salary figure, to get Juan Soto. And it's a bit different than last offseason when we knew they were going to be players, but we didn't know the exact amount till the very end.
Yeah, and I think this is a little bit different this time around. Not in terms of the chances of acquiring Soto, but Soto's priorities. And I think Soto's priorities here are going to be to get the most amount of money possible. And that's a risky proposition for the Blue Jays when you're going up against Steve Cohen. But the fact that the Mets and Blue Jays are viewed as the ones to place the highest bid, I think that's very encouraging because we got to remember that Juan Soto has his ring already, and he can transform this Blue Jays ball club if they keep Vladimir Guerrero Jr. aboard, which I think will be a deal breaker if they don't. If they don't keep Vladdy past this season, there is no way that they're going to be able to acquire Soto in free agency. So I think that's a package deal. And I look at the fit with the Blue Jays. It makes a lot of sense. A lot of Dominican players have played in Toronto and have had incredible success in Toronto. We look at Edwin Encarnacion, Jose Bautista. Both of those guys turned their careers around with the help of the Blue Jays organization. It's a different proposition here for Soto. He doesn't need to turn anything around. He just has to keep doing what he's doing. But he's got a great relationship with Vladdy Jr., and I think that'll help in the negotiation process. And the fact that the Blue Jays are willing to be the highest bidder will also help in the process. So I think Shohei's priorities were obviously money in free agency. He obviously wanted to get that $700 million contract, which he got, but he wanted to go to the best possible situation for himself as well, which ultimately ended up being the Dodgers. It looked like a stroke of genius for him going to the Dodgers. He won a World Series in his first year there. I don't know if the Blue Jays would have been in that same scenario with all the injuries and all of the underperforming that we saw from the roster this season. So I think Ohtani prioritized winning and money, whereas Soto is going to prioritize fit and money. And I don't think there's a better combination in Major League Baseball than the Toronto Blue Jays. The only case that can be made there is the Mets, who might go above and beyond and go to a figure that the Jays are going to be unwilling to match. But everything that we've been hearing lately has been that the Jays are going to be at the top of that highest bid, and they're going to be going at Soto as hard as they can. So I think that's a very good sign if you're a Blue Jay fan.
Yeah, and they seem like they're not going to get outbid this offseason. I mean, again, Edward Rogers, we're hearing a lot about that. Ben Nicholson Smith came out and said it, and a couple of executives as well. We have two executives predicting that Soto lands at the Jays, albeit the favorites are, of course, the Yankees and the Mets, and they think that they'll get 11 of the executives say that he'll get at least 600 million. 7 of them say he won't get more than 600 million. And again, also the Jays are linked. A couple of executives think they're going to get Blake Snell. So clearly some executives, and I'm going to go on a limb and say that these, of course, won't include, some people are making jokes about how these 2 executives are Mark Shapiro and Ross Atkins. I assume that's not the case, but if it is, that's hilarious. I think that ultimately there's some executives going for it. He probably ends up with one of the New York teams, but the Jays are going to give their very best shot, and all reports are indicating that. But that'll wrap it up. Let us know down below what your thoughts are on this. Are you a little bit more convinced, or are you still going to lay on the shot of caution? Let us know. See you guys later.